Yeah, I mean, they're only. Look, I look at it. I mean, I'm a Giants fan, obviously, but I'm looking at it what it's actually taking the Giants as a team to be ahead of the Dodgers. Like they're playing ridiculous baseball at a high level. I think the Giants are like 25. It takes basically the Dodgers are so good that it takes a team like the Giants to be 25 games over 500 just to be 2 games ahead. Like that says a
Yeah, oh
lot.
yeah. I mean,
That says a
that's
lot.
that's saying how good the Giants are playing. And geez, what's your manager's name again?
Gabe Kapler, the
Did,
return
did you see this coming
manager
after
of the
Philadelphia?
manager of the year. Can you imagine? Trust me. I
We
think
all laughed when they
I'm I'm,
named
I'm
Kapler.
pretty I'm pretty the only, I'm pretty sure that the Giants did sweep Philadelphia when they came to Oracle. I thought I'm sure he had a couple beers that went down pretty well after winning the series against the
Yeah,
Phillies as far as that goes. So Joey Gallo from the Texas Rangers is on the market. Looks like the Yankees are involved. The Yankees have probably just realized that they have a short right field porch, and that he can probably take advantage of that. And they probably should invest in some left-handed hitters, considering their entire lineup is righties. He's a guy who strikes out a lot. I think the Padres are also involved in Gallo, so we'll see what happens there. He was my dark horse to win the home run derby. He lost by one. He lost by one in that situation. But we talked
yeah,
about
it was
Gallo.
crazy. That was
That
crazy.
was good.
That
It was fun. It was fun to watch. Very fun to watch. What are your thoughts about Gallo? And could he really help the Yankees, who talk about no momentum in the sport of baseball? They basically shut out the Astros for 2.5 games, 2 and 3/4 games, and then they give up the whole thing in the last game before the All Star
yeah,
break.
that's maybe 2.9.
2.9.
78% of the series they shut them out, and honestly, to lose like that, and then to have tonight canceled, it's just like this cloud is hanging over the Yankees
Yeah.
and Aaron Boone.
It's whenever you think they're going to make a run, something happens.
Exactly. Is it too little, too late for the Yankees? Who
Right.
does Gallo replace? Who do they trade for him? I think the Yankees need to ride this season out, and that the John Carlos Stanton, Aaron Judge, Aaron Judge coming up with a contract soon. It's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees handle that. They are just so right-handed. I think the Yankees are really in on Gallo because there's a lot of rumblings, a lot of Chris Bryant going to the Mets, and the Mets will just, it's not George's Yankees where he wouldn't want to have the bigger superstars on the other side of town, but you add Chris Bryant to that lineup, and I still to this moment I think Francisco Lindor is going to pop out in a big way and be the Lindor
Do they have
we
the
all know.
the Mets have the prospects for that?
The Mets, not only the Mets have the prospects,
Yeah.
um, you know, the Mets have the steal of of the Major League
Yeah.
Baseball draft.
Yep.
You talk about a player falling to you. That's I'm going to compare it to the NFL. That's Dan Marino dropping to the Jets or the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That pitcher rocker is incredible
Mhm.
talent right there. But yeah, I think they have the prospects that they need, and a couple young players who they maybe even a couple of the starters to put Chris Bryant at third base, and it'll be interesting to see because apparently everyone, even Baez, which shocked me when they said Baez is available. That really shocked me that they would make Javi Baez available in a trade with the Cubs. So, but yeah, Gallo left-handed bat with the Yankees. It's we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised
Um,
though if the Padres come in and steal him, or if there's some unknown team that wants him.
yeah. The Red Sox, the Yankees are 8 games out of first currently, and then when you go to the wild card standings, they are. I'm gonna ignore the games back. I'm just going to go to the lost column. There's 3 games behind Oakland in the lost column. So that's where they have to make their hay. 3 games in the lost column, and hoping that they can face Tampa. Even Seattle is right there. Seattle and Toronto. So the games don't get easier. They're not a dominant team. So we'll see what happens there. And they spent too much money on pieces that they didn't need, and they didn't. It's just really that simple. It's kind of crazy to kind of think about it.
Yeah, and Chapman falling apart too is really, Chapman had, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Chapman had 4 days where they said he had a cold and wasn't available to pitch. He just hasn't been the same since those 4 days.
Yeah, and then you had Chad Green trying to close the game, and you saw what Altuve did to him. They're not in a good spot. They're not in a good spot. I thought after that 167 game pitches against where Garrett Cole shut out his old team. I thought that he would or beat his old team. I thought they were good. They were going to be good to go, but it just doesn't happen in baseball. Baseball is a momentumless sport. It's weird. It doesn't carry from day to day.
It's hard. It's very hard for momentum to carry.
Yeah.
The old saying is momentum is only as good as your next day's pitcher.
Yeah, that's true. No question about it. Let's roll All-Star Weekend. That was fun. All-Star. I keep saying All-Star Weekend because all the other sports have it on weekend. Can we add a weekend to Major League Baseball and then have it on a weekend?
No, like I said, the owners will give them that weekend revenue. They never will. They never will.
But it was fun. I thought that home run derby was fun. I did see in Japan where they have these little huge circles on the field and they do bunting contest as well.
Yes, the bunting contest.
I was like, that's unbelievable.
No player in Major League Baseball in America would win that competition.
Brett Butler was old school Brett Butler.
Well, Brett, I'm talking about today's players.
You are correct. I don't think anybody would would be able to do that. But I did the home run derby works in this league. It's not unlike. I think if Tatis didn't have that shoulder injury, he would have performed in it. It would have been fun to watch Tatis go at it as well. I
think the big thing with the home run derby, as opposed to other sports, is you have players who want to compete in it.
They want to, they want to do
it. They want to compete in that, and Pete Alonso has a lot of fun with it. He was definitely locked in, and you could see he was enjoying himself out there and getting the crowd into it. So that's good.
We want an athlete to take their job seriously, but there's times where you just smile and want to have fun and show that. And if you're this home run derby allows that moment to happen. It really does. I do wish that NBA players could, the established ones, like would be able to see that the dunk contest is for the fans. It's for the kids. It's for the younger generation to see some of the amazing things you can do.
They had to drag Larry Bird away from the 3-point contest.
Yes.
His back got so bad. And there was a great story about Bird being a trash talker, and I think it was in '91, he couldn't compete in the 3-point contest. And he'd won it the year before, and the person who won it was a Chicago Bull. Shoot, who was that 3-point shooter?
It was Craig
Hodges. Craig Hodges. So Craig Hodges, in his press conference said, after winning the awards, he said, when Larry feels better, he knows where to find me. So they let Larry know the quote, and Larry's response was, "Yeah, at the end of the Bulls bench." So.
Yeah, he does. He does. He talks so. He was a great trash talker, dude. He was a straight. I love his trash talking. He was something else, man. He was something else. He doesn't play.
Yeah, I rewatched the Lakers Celtics 30 for 30, and the Lakers talking about how Bird would trash talk and tell them what he was going to do to them, and then do it is just incredible.
Yeah, he was a tremendous player. He was a tremendous player. Very, very, very unique, very, very unique player. Larry Bird. As far as like I said, also All Star break. The game is the best game of all the All Star games because it's an actual real game. Also, I mean, the National League didn't really have their. I don't think they had barely their best pitchers out there, but
Yeah, I mean, and the problem with the All Star game now is, the Major League Baseball All Star game went from being probably the greatest All Star game to right now like the best of the All Star games. There was just used to be so much competition where, they would bring in all these old timers before the game and they would pump up the team, saying, we can't lose to these bastards and stuff like that, and just the two leagues hated each other, they disliked each other, and the big one was the rules.
Interleague play kind of destroyed the mystery.
Interleague play destroyed that. There was twice a year we got interleague play, the All-Star game and the World Series when I was a kid. And I get why we can't have that anymore, and I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man. But that, and the All-Star, and again, different media coverage. So the All-Star game and the World Series was when I really got to see players from other leagues who may not have been on the NBC game of the week.
Yeah.
So, but just too many players are opting out now, wanting those 3 days off. And, I'll give Garrett Cole credit. He pitched Saturday night, but he still went, to represent the Yankees, even though he wasn't going to play. But yeah, there was just too many players who weren't right. The Astros didn't show up. None of the Astro players went.
I mean, you couldn't even get. I mean, in the playoffs, the Clippers couldn't even get Kawhi Leonard to sit on the bench with them.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. I mean, just think about that for a second. Like, you couldn't even. Yes, you're injured. You couldn't even sit on the bench with your team, a team that you helped construct. Like, come on.
But if you get a chance, go through YouTube and look at some of the Major League Baseball highlight films of All-Star games. Not the actual. I know you can find some of the All-Star games, the complete telecast, which those are great to watch too. But watch the films that Major League Baseball put together, and just hear the players in the dugout
talking.
I remember the Fred Lynn Grand Slam as like one of the greatest baseball moments of my life, when he hit that All-Star Grand Slam and the American League finally beat the National League. For the first time in my life.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun experience. I mean, way over the Pro Bowl and the NBA All-Star game. I do like. I mean, the NBA All-Star game, All-Star weekend can be fun, but they got to get the. I would next collective bargaining agreement. It's the first 3 years. First 3 years you're in the NBA, we pick who goes to the All-Star. We pick who goes to the dunk contest.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because the NHL All-Star game has really turned into, you have all these 14 to 12 games. But when I was a kid, the All-Star game would be like a 7-6 game or an 8-7 game, which was out of the ordinary. I mean, they still played defense though, but they just didn't play it as tight. The checking wasn't there. Now the NHL All-Star game, they have it broken down in the 3-on-3 games. It's just, it's not an All-Star game anymore. And Major League Baseball can really recapture that. But for me personally, my personal moment that I felt the Major League Baseball All-Star game was not the same was when John Kruk ruined it. John Kruk getting into the batter's box with his hat on backwards, because he was facing Randy Johnson and joking around it and not taking it serious. I thought that's the moment I put where the Major League Baseball All-Star game wasn't the same for me after that.
I mean, I thought that, to me, I could definitely see that. I think for me, it was like that moment when you talked about was, you joke like that during the, I mean, in the pregame, postgame, and when you're actually playing the game, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, and at that point too, we just had so much more movement amongst teams.
Yeah.
Where you were friends with players on other teams and everything like that. So, but yeah, that for me, that's the defining moment of when Major League Baseball All-Star game was not the same.
Yeah. Shoot, I have one more, but I do want to get to some. We have four movie slash TV shows I did want to discuss with you before we head out. And one was, were you big? Because I was other day I had a friend over here to help me because I'm bad at putting things together. So he put together this. I have this one of these desks that go up and down, which is like a whole new world. I feel like Tom Brokaw sitting behind this thing. Um, but I was playing old videos of old cartoons on YouTube of GI Joe and watching GI Joe. So they have the movie Snake Eyes movie comes out now. Are you in any way excited to see Snake Eyes? And were you a fan of GI Joe?
So the GI Joe I grew up with was the
Yes.
big 12-inch action figure without the
Yeah.
cartoon show.
Okay.
So I the cartoon show was a little past my time, um, when that first started airing with all the different action figures that they added. I think when I was a kid, the GI Joe, he actually had a real beard that was all scruffy and you could rub. Um, I think there was like four other soldiers, but then you get that whole TV show era and the what are they, like 5 inches tall, 6 inches, not even 6 inches, maybe five, like this tall.
And the intro
Um,
song is amazing.
the intro song was good. I remember the intro song. That was just a little past my time. So learning who all those guys were. I tried watching one of the GI Joe movies one time when I was sick, and um, I changed the channel. Like I couldn't even fall asleep to it. That's how bad it was.
I'm
So
sure.
I unfortunately I don't have you know any desire to see Snake Eyes.
Okay. Um, I mean, I don't even like saying the name of the name of the movie because I don't want them to come behind me. I won't say it three times. But I guess in this movie it's five times. But Candyman was one of my favorite. The Candyman, the early Nightmare on Elm Streets, and then Serpent in the Rainbow were like some of my favorite horror movies. Jordan Peele is helping produce this one. What do you feel about Candyman? Are you excited to see that, or did you like the first one?
Oh, I like the first one, and I'm excited to see the new one, especially what Jordan Peele's going to add to it. So yeah, I will definitely check that out. And again, that's one of the my horror movies as a kid. Like the first horror movie I ever saw was Halloween, and then a few years later, I saw The Exorcist for the first time. So those are the movies of my high school age when you start watching those types of movies, the scary movies alone with friends.
Yes.
um, but yeah, Candyman, I enjoyed, and I am definitely looking forward to this. I have a coworker who's so afraid of the original one, like he hasn't been able to sit through the trailer for the new one. So
Dude, I'm telling you right now, like it's just that movie terrified the hell out of me. That oh yeah, another horror movie I used to love was Hellraiser. I loved Hellraiser. I loved Hellraiser. I love Pinhead. Well, I didn't love Pinhead, but I love the movie. It scared me enough. Loki already got signed for another season. I have only seen episode one of Loki. I do like it. I I understand it. I understand the thing he has to wear on his head. When they wear the thing on his head, it just looks so cheesy. It drives me crazy. The little horn thing that he wears. But do you like Loki?
loved
Obviously,
it, loved
yeah. How far into
it.
it were you?
I'm done.
Done. Okay.
I watched every episode, even when I was on vacation last week. I had to watch it on my iPhone.
Really good.
Uh, yeah, last week's episode is probably one of my has some of my favorite Marvel moments. And I know it was only like 40 minutes long last week or 45 minutes long, but from start to finish, last week's episode 5, had me just as enthralled and interested as Thor Ragnarok.
Mm.
It was just that interesting to watch it and what was going on. And episode 6 was it wasn't I had to watch it a second time, but it's a really good episode. It wasn't what I was expecting to see for the ending, but it was a really good solid episode, and it just really honestly the next few movies, definitely Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
This is where episode 6 takes you to. So let's get that Spider-Man trailer out.
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see the Eternals trailer?
Yes, I did, and I'm really trying to figure out how that's going to tie into.
I'm definitely trying to figure out, because it was kind of like a nothing trailer. So like I kind of want to see what happens as far as that goes. I have not seen. I guess tomorrow I'm gonna try to go see Black Widow. Have you seen Black Widow? And have you seen
Yes,
Black Widow?
I did the Disney Plus extra, the $29 to get to early access. I figured if I went to the movie theater, between paying for tickets,
If you go with somebody, forget about it. You pay more
even
than 30.
I go by even if I go by myself, I'm going to buy a couple beers
Yeah.
and a snack. I'm going to pay $30 anyway, so I'm like, you know what? I'll just pay the $30 to Disney Plus, and if I go to the theater and spend $30 and don't like it, it's not okay. But if I went to the movies and spent $30 and really liked it and wanted to see it again, and I enjoyed it, I thought it was really good. I thought it has that Winter Soldier vibe. Her sister was great. She steals the movie. Even Scarlett Johansson was good in this. David Harbaugh was good. Or Harbaugh, not Harbaugh. Harbor, whatever, was good at it. It's an interesting movie, and the thing I liked about it is, there was callbacks to stuff, but there wasn't like these Easter eggs or hints to what was coming. So it was nice to just sit back and watch a movie, and a really good ending. Really, like I said, a lot of action packed and a lot of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see that. I heard the relationship between the sisters is really a good one.
It's really good, really good.
They did a really good job with that. I think the one thing that Marvel has always done, I mean, they just have, obviously they have more money than God to work with, but you still got to get it right. Like, I mean, a lot of these movies have a lot of money, but they don't get it right. So they understand how to write for those comedic parts of it, and the dramatic parts of it that keep you kind of enthralled to keep coming back for more. So we'll have to see what happens.
I think it's a really good feel for Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow, because the first Avenger movie, she was kind of just there, and whatnot. So, and how she developed over the courses of the movies, and and it was good to not have any other characters really show up in the movie. There's allusions to other people on the Avengers and stuff like that, but
let her shine.
It was her movie, and she stole it. She did a really good job of
it. Like, you gotta let her. I totally agree with that part of it too. Like, you gotta let her shine. If you're gonna do this, let her shine. No question about it. I think the last thing is too, like, how surprised were you about the Richard Sherman situation, and how that kind of
I mean that was all happening this morning,
but I mean, yeah,
and
you
everything.
never know. Yeah,
you never know, and you don't know, like, and again, I'm not a doctor, but it's like, is this the early stages of CTE?
That's the first.
We seem to get this from these players.
Yep, first thing I
thought about. And Richard Sherman just seems to be like one of the most, he's had his moments on the field in the games, the Hugh Mad Bro with Tom Brady,
yes.
And stuff like that, and all his battles with the Niners when he's with Seattle, but stuff like this, off the field and in interviews, he just seemed like such a happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah.
For this to come out of somewhere, you just hope it's not the early stages of CTE or something like that. Yeah. So prayers are with him, and we hope he gets better, but I'm pretty sure that's the end of his NFL career. And it's a kind of a sad note to go out for someone who should be considered for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, a friend of mine who works with me now, and he used to be a server at a restaurant, and he said every week Junior Seau came in and ordered the same thing, just every week, was so happy-go-lucky, and then we all know what happened with Junior Seau. So, like, hopefully that doesn't happen here, and hopefully he just gets the help he needs, because the guy is, I mean, he's basically, I mean, the character that Maurice Chestnut played in Boys in the Hood was, that's the Richard Sherman story almost. It's like from Compton to to the Pac-12 to the NFL. Like that's what we wanted that's what they wanted to see in that movie. But he was able to realize that, and hopefully everything works out for him as well. So listen, On Waivers Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, all those things like that. James, do you have anything to say in parting before we go? We'll get to the Brewer stuff next week.
Brewers stuff will get to next week because just like everyone else, we're pushing the Brewers aside.
I feel so bad because they're playing so good. I feel terrible. I feel terrible about it.
Just real quick on the movie front, I cannot wait for Suicide Squad by James Gunn.
Okay.
I am so looking forward to that.
So no Will Smith, Idris Elba is in there now?
Yes. But the previews, and again, it's James Gunn, who's just an incredible writer and director. Mm-hmm. I'm getting really pumped for that to come out soon. I think it's in 2 weeks, August 6th.
Is there any I don't know. I just can't get into DC because I just feel like it's just like I watch it and I leave. There's nothing like.
I think this movie. It won't make you a DC fan. I think you're gonna really like this movie.
Okay.
That's my personal feeling.
Everybody I know, as I'm really talking about James Gunn as much as and
I mean, what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right there alone is.
He made that. I mean, that was a great movie. It's a good, especially the first one. I had no expectations, and I wasn't even gonna go. And then somebody dragged me there. It's kind of like the two movies that people dragged me to were Marvel movies. Was that one, Guardians of the Galaxy, and also Doctor Strange. And I love Doctor Strange. I thought it was brilliant, well done.
Yeah,
cool.
So, but yeah, I think you'll like Suicide Squad. If I could get out to California and drag it to the theater, I would. But it's gonna be on HBO Max, so you don't have to go to the theater.
Listen, I am. You let me know when you're coming, because I definitely want to go. We gotta check out Petco together. You're gonna. I'm telling you. Yes. I know what kind of baseball fan you are. I know what kind of different beers you like and stuff like that. You're going to love Petco Park. It is incredible. It's a great place to watch a game.
Yes, I tried really hard to get out there for my vacation, but I could not get the easiest flights to get there. And I was going to spend the night in Chicago O'Hare Airport from midnight to 7 a.m. waiting for a flight. So I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, that's fine. In the future, maybe. All right. Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Not TikTok. I just can't do it. I know they got 3 billion.
No TikTok.
I know it's TikTok. Instagram is for Instagram, and YouTube as far as we're gonna go. I just.
If you ever see me on TikTok, just know I've been replaced by one of those pods in one of those alien movies, because TikTok, when you're over 30 and you're on TikTok, you need to really.
Yeah, I just can't.
Especially when you do it a lot. You really need to
a lot.
Get your priorities straight.
There's some old folks who are on TikTok who are on there, they spend their whole day on there. That's not good.
If you're posting more TikToks than your kids, you need to.
That's a problem.
Go talk to someone.
That's a problem. You need to find somebody to go talk to. All right, James. Good seeing you. You never know what hat James is going to have on next week. So we got the cow hat on today, Golden Bear.
I have a surprise jersey in the works too.
Surprise jersey. All right.
A very surprise jersey.
So we'll see. I do like the NL AL jerseys. I don't like the price of those jerseys, but I do like them for the All-Star game. I like those.
We gotta talk.
Okay, we'll put it down right now next week.
Those are awful.
All-Star jerseys. I love them. I love them a lot. All right, James.
God.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Yeah.